Okay, hi, this is Elliot Fishman, and welcome to our latest Facebook Live. Today is the 7th of November. I'm sorry, the 7th of October, and I hope everybody's doing well. Looks like a really nice October in terms of the weather. And usually when October comes, a lot of the meetings start. October is a very busy month for meetings. Sometimes September has one or two meetings, but October typically has lots of meetings. And then as you start going to meetings in October, you begin panicking over, oh my God, I got to finish up my RSNA exhibits. I have to finish up my RSNA scientific sessions. I have to finish up my RSNA refresher courses. That's the common word on the street every single year through RSNA 2019. Um, Last year, obviously, COVID was front and center. RSNA for the first time since World War II was canceled. Yes, there was a remote RSNA, and we submitted our abstracts and our presentations, our categorical courses, which probably nobody ever watched. It was impossible to find them, and it just wasn't. People were not in the mood to be doing anything. I know companies were doing remotely their corporate things, and of course, they would have a lot of people on hand to answer questions, and nobody would show up. So RSNA did happen. They gave out some gold medals, and it's feel bad for people who won the RSNA gold medal, which is quite an achievement. Then you find out that you got it in the mail or something. So bad luck. Um, what about RSNA 2021? I think when we were at RSNA 2020, everybody thought we'll be there in 2021. I think in the late spring, May, June, as the COVID numbers were going down, I think everybody also felt very comfortable that we'd be moving forward to RSNA this year. Unfortunately, with Delta and the COVID numbers, the need for third vaccines, things aren't going all that well. I think we're stabilizing, we're taking control. I think honestly, we're probably about a year off from things getting back to quote unquote some sense of normal. But RSNA, last time I looked, is about 6 or 7 weeks away. So the question of this talk is, are you going to RSNA? Till last year, people would ask me, how long are you going to RSNA for? Are you going there on Saturday or are you going there on Sunday? I always went on Saturday because I had to hang up some exhibits. Are you staying the whole week? Nah, that was a bit too much. Are you staying till Wednesday? Wednesday is the RSNA reception at night and leaving Thursday morning, or are you staying till Friday? Often you had no control. Sometimes I had a refresher course on Thursday night, and so, or that 4:30 to 6 o'clock course, and you went home the following day. So really the questions revolved on not if you were going, but when you were going, how long were you staying. Someone might say you're staying at the Hyatt, or then the Marriott. Remember, I used to spend a lot of effort getting into the Hyatt because you didn't have to travel. Then when the Marriott came, I have Marriott points. I have Hyatt points also, but my Marriott points are better. So we stayed at the Marriott. But this year, it doesn't look good. Now, first of all, I will tell you that I don't know how your institution is, or maybe you can tell me. Last year, most institutions, before Hopkins even, said there's no travel, no academic travel. Whether it was Sloan Kettering or MD Anderson, NYU, Stanford, you name it, you weren't allowed to travel. Right now at Hopkins, we're not allowed to travel, so there is no travel. You can go on vacation; they can't stop you from doing that, perhaps, and you can, but they obviously want you to use common sense. But there's no business travel, so you can't go to a meeting. So, truth is, whether I wanted to go to RSNA or not, I can't. I'm supposed to go to a meeting at University of California, San Diego, UCSD, which I've been to for a decade, one of my favorite meetings to speak at. The greatest people in the world are there, but I have to give them a call because I was hoping that Hopkins might change the rule, but that's not going to happen. So you can't travel. You can't do what you can't do, what you're not allowed to do, and I'm senior faculty, so I really can't be setting a bad example for people, but the rules are the rules, and the rules apply to all of us, so we're not traveling. I think you'll be able to watch the RSNA. You can do it remotely, and it's kind of funny. I think the RSNA knew what was coming because Remember, when you pay your RSNA dues, you get the RSNA meeting for free. Now, if you go to the meeting, it's for free. If you do it online, there's a charge. And I think they're looking at some way of recouping some of their investment. I think one of the things and one of the telling things, though I had heard about it before, but it was official as of yesterday, Canon. Remember, Canon's the old Toshiba. But when you think about the big dogs at RSNA, and I mean that in terms of space, there's like the companies that max out the space: Siemens, GE, Toshiba / Canon. Those companies really take up monster space. And Canon did say they're not going to be at the meeting. They'll do everything remotely. Now, I know the RSNA number of companies applying were down, and everyone says they're going. But I think Canon being the first Canon saying we're not going, I think you're going to see many more companies like this. I think at the end of the day, you have to really remember that NVIDIA is not having meetings. NVIDIA's big meeting is second week of November. It's remote. Apple, all of their product introductions are remote. They could do it outside, it's remote. Everything from Google, remote. Everything from Facebook, remote. Everything from Microsoft, remote. Everything from Salesforce, remote. Every company that really has reasons to be in public, has a younger workforce, is in good areas, has a lot of space, is still basically saying we are not meeting in person. So I think RSNA will meet. There's no doubt they will have a meeting. If they have 6 people, they will have a meeting. And I hope it grows well, and I hope the gold medals are given out and all the good things like that. But I think you're going to have a very understated meeting. Think about Hopkins. If we can't go, we probably, between techs and radiologists and physicists and administrators, we probably had 100 people at RSNA. We're going to have 0. So it's really a tough call to see what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be not a surprise. I think other companies are going to drop out. I think people still haven't made up their minds about going. The people I speak to who are going because they have a refresher course, they wanted to give it, and was told to give it in person, are going to basically go to the meeting, give their course, and leave. I don't see people walking around the RSNA looking at exhibits, going to companies, and I don't see much in the company booths. I think you're not going to see workstations and big scanners, I do not believe. I think you're probably going to see things like you go to a small meeting where there's some background information and there's a table and a few reps and some printed matter. I could be wrong. Probably I will be wrong, but that's something I think that's going to happen. I think I'm looking forward, if things go well, to RSNA 2022. I think for most people that's going to be more of a reality. Remember, RSNA also is a Radiologic Society of North America, but RSNA long ago gave up, correctly, being only North America. We have South America. We have Europe and China and Australia and New Zealand and Africa and countries from Israel to Egypt to UAE to Dubai. All of these countries, those countries aren't going. People are not, I think, going to get in a plane and stay in a hotel in Chicago as their first trip. I think it's just probably not going to be. It's hard to get into the U.S. I mean, they're making travel restrictions a little bit less restrictive, but still, I'm just not sure how much people are willing to put up with in terms of long travel, hotels, and feeling uncomfortable once they get to the meeting. I think, I could be wrong, but I'll predict that RSNA numbers in person are going to be exceedingly low. Now, I have a lot of friends in the RSNA, and I'm very involved with the RSNA, and I really love the RSNA, so it's really sad, but I think it's just a reality. So I'm looking forward, presenting exhibits, hopefully doing refresher courses, RSNA 2022. Now, as for meetings, I could tell you, we ran 37 years of meetings in a row. We did a virtual meeting last year. I don't plan on doing a virtual meeting this year. Maybe we'll change our mind. I am speaking at a lot of meetings. I'm speaking in Dubai on Saturday. I'm speaking at a meeting in Texas the 20th. I'm speaking in Palo Alto the 25th of October. I'm speaking at GW Grand Rounds with Rachel Brem a week from Friday. So I am giving a lot of talks, but they're all remote. So whether it's in Africa or Asia or Washington, D.C., this is my space capsule. So everywhere I go, I'm in the space capsule. So that's just the way it is. Now, is it as exciting as going somewhere, seeing people, and being engaged? The answer is no. But it's the best we have to do. And one of the things at CTSS we've done is we've increased our offerings, whether it's cases, whether it's lectures. We've created all sorts of new lectures. You know, in a year, we put up a new lecture every week, but a lot of those new lectures are simply upgrades of old lectures. So every 2 years, I might redo the pancreatic cysts or renal tumors or stomach. But now, in addition to redoing those, but I put more of a focus on creating new talks. I just recorded a talk the other day on CT of the perirenal space. That's going to be up on CTSS early December. I just finished a talk on vascular applications of CT with 3D in the chest. Okay, so that just was literally a three-parter that was recorded within the last week. Again, November, early December. In fact, I'm up to, Sarah told me that I have to give 2 more talks, and that'll finish up the year. Obviously, I don't give a talk the day before. We need to post it, so I do plan ahead. And we plan to we try to have it balanced. You know, I always ask you guys, what would you like me to talk about? What things we haven't talked about? So we try to make sure that we are continuing to develop new material. And I think traveling less and just refocusing on that, of the last, I'll just say 30 talks on CTSS, probably 26 or 27 of them were talks that never existed. Really well-defined new talks on important topics, but not so much as part of a bigger talk or sort of an upgrade, but something that never existed before, and now it exists. So that part's really exciting. I think we do want to hear from you guys. I think one of the things we kind of always get a little bit disappointed in, we have 2.2 million followers today on Facebook. So, you know, most people 12 o'clock, some people it's late at night, and some people it's during lunch, and some people it's early, it's late, it's always something. But we have thousands and thousands of people. Tell us what you'd like us to speak about, what information I can in many ways change what I present or develop new topics, but I kind of do it based on what I think, which is pretty reasonable, but it's not as reasonable as you coming up with ideas. Sometimes people come up with ideas which I can't do. So if you've sent something in and I did not do it, either it's in the works, it's about to come out, or I couldn't do it. So that's, you know, one of the three. So let's see, it's 13 minutes in, so I have a couple of minutes left. If anyone has any questions, you may have noticed I did post yesterday our speaker, Mankesh, gave a fantastic talk. He's the co-founder of Kaleidoscope, which is a big thing on podcasting. We do speaker series about every 4 weeks. We're having great people coming. Trina Spear, who was here 5 years ago, the co-founder and co-CEO of Figs, one of the most successful companies on the NASDAQ, will be speaking with us. We have all sorts of really interesting people, really who are changing the world and have a lot to say. And I think all of us, if we listen, can learn a lot. So we are, I would say the word is, what I told people is, we're doubling down on what we do. In the COVID era, where people are a little bit worn out, there's a great tendency to do less and say, well, it's enough. We're saying, no, let's do more, because it's not enough. People need more information. People are looking, and which is why our numbers are so high, and we take great responsibility to make certain that everybody is happy. So going back to meetings again, I hope to be at some meetings in the coming year. I predict maybe in the summer next year, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there'll be more meetings? I hear someone saying more thorax cases, and actually the thorax was the subject of the talks I gave. So 3 of the talks I gave were on the thorax, and there's some more coming, so we are doing that. Other than that, I see John Biacchino's from home today. John, how's it going? And then from Monteverdi saying more chest, perineum, and gallbladder cases. If you want to see a lot of those cases, you can go on to the teaching file of our website. There's 286,000 plus images and cases. And if you look at gallbladder, if you look up chest, you'll see a lot of really great cases there. So that's a good place to look at. We are constantly putting up cases nearly every day. So there's, if you haven't been back in a bit, there's a lot more cases than when you left last time. And I think that's the main comments. I don't see, we answered all the comments. John, what's happening? I guess John's from home. I think he works this weekend probably. And that's about it. So I hope everyone has a great day and hope to see you at RSNA 2022. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. Catch you later.